My great-grandfather's claim that he staked on that day in 1889 ended up being 3 miles west of where the Chisholm Trail crosses what is now I-40 in Oklahoma. I did quite a bit of research on the Chisholm Trail, and it all came together the day that I drove around the town square. In fact, on a wooden bench on the courthouse lawn where the old men spit and whittle sits a youthful pair, like 2 bookends there for the old one in the middle. And the young men hang on his every word as the old one starts to prattle, and he weaves the tale of the Chisholm Trail and his endless war with cattle. His old roomy eyes focus sharp and clear on a west both young and wild, when the virgin sod all belonged to God, and the land lay undefiled. We left San Antone on a hot, dry day in the first week of September, and we sallied forth, always headed north, till the snows of late November. But between those days of the heat and cold, we played nurse to evil critters. Like the spawn of hell, they were all compelled to be fighters, sulls, and quitters. They were mean as snakes. They were wild as deer, and they'd spook at the least commotion. A contrary breed, they would all stampede if just one steer took the notion. When the cast iron rang at the Coosie's fire, when the wrangler jingled horses, we would dabble loop in that wall-eyed group of our traveling equine forces. We rode half-broke broncs sired by Spanish barbs with some steel dust for good measure, and we cinched our cats to the icy backs of creation's finest treasure. Boys, those colts could buck. They could chin the moon, they could sunfish like a flounder. They would soon burn out, but there weren't no doubt you had best not trust that grounder. Though we rode like men on those broom-tailed brutes, most of us weren't even shaving. Without fear or care, we were unaware of the hardships we'd be braving. We were orphans, scamps, and some runaways who had fled their dads and mothers. Red, brown, black, or white, we had equal right in that horseback band of brothers. We shared mile on mile of the heat and dust on that long, hard Chisholm Trail. But the boredom ceased when the winds increased and the clouds brought rain and hail. Then the fear took root in those longhorn skulls when the lightning started flashing, and they rose en masse from the grama grass when the thunder started crashing. There was hell to pay, and the price was dear. Steers were lost and bones were broken, and my best friend Ed lay among the dead when their final prayers were spoken. Then I rode away from that barrel stave where I burned Ed's name last evening, and I set my mind to the daily grind to forget the friend I'm leaving. With just half the herd, us remaining boys found the Ellsworth Railroad station. Dang their ornery hides. They got one-way rides to an eastern destination. We were rid of them. We were all set free. We learned new sense in Kansas. But we soon cooled down, lit a shuck from town, and we didn't stop till Texas. Soon the rails were laid from Chicago town, and the trail drive days were over. Boys, I'd give a year of my sitting here for just one day as a drover. I would ride all day on the open range, and I'd see no fence or highway. Every loop I threw would fly straight and true, and I'd be top hand on my day. Then I'd mosey down to some little place where we'd waste our wage come payday. I'd make no excuse when the wolves cut loose on my last and final soiree. I would buy a round for my saddle pals, and we'd sing the old songs bravely. Then I'd waltz my girl till her heart's a whirl. Then I just might kiss the lady. Well, the old man sighed, and he sat a bit, but his old blue eyes were gleaming. Soon the boys were gone from the courthouse lawn, and the man went back to dreaming.